Hi, and welcome into Digital Transformation Talk. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you're at in the world at this moment. Thank you for being here. Generative AI tools are disrupting collaboration in organizations across all verticals in the private and public sector. It's an important topic for a lot of technology leaders, and that's why today I'm thrilled to have a true legend and pioneer in the community join us to talk about Gen AI and enterprise collaboration, Joel Oleson. Joel is a globally recognized thought leader and speaker with a passion for collaboration technologies and digital transformation. He's one of the original SharePoint pioneers with over 2 decades of experience leading enterprise collaboration and digital workplace strategies. From his days as the first full-time SharePoint administrator at Microsoft to his ongoing role as a community advocate and advisor, Joel has shaped the way organizations around the world leverage Microsoft technologies and other technologies to drive innovation and efficiency. Beyond his impressive career, Joel is also a passionate world traveler and known for his insightful content and speaking engagements around the globe. Joel, welcome to Digital Transformation Talk. It's great to have you here. How's it going?
Hey, so good to be here with you, Dan.
So great to have you
Very
here,
excited.
Joel.
It's going to be awesome.
I
So great to be on your show. This is awesome.
I really appreciate you being here. I feel sorry for the viewers and listeners. They've already missed out on us geeking out and diving in, as Joel and I tend to do when we're catching up with each other. So, Joel, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about your career and how you've become to be so knowledgeable in these topics?
Yeah, so I have been doing this for a long time, and SharePoint really was a great vehicle early on. I was that first IT hire dedicated to SharePoint in Microsoft IT. And it was a key point in my early career, essentially working on enterprise collaboration for Microsoft internal. And I then working through that as it went to the cloud, architecting the online version. Some of you may remember BPOS, the oldies on here, and then joining the marketing team focused on the IT audience, doing product management at Microsoft. Since that time, I've been working at a number of large enterprise customers, including Blizzard, Activision Blizzard Entertainment, and now with Sony Interactive, PlayStation. It's been a fun career. I think one of the highlights of my career is very much my travels,
Hmm.
speaking and connecting with communities all over the world. Not only that, but actually a goal of mine was to visit every country in the world, and I accomplished that this past year. So that's super exciting as well. Is I love cultures and people and crazy animals, trekking with gorillas and orangutans and all that kind of good jazz.
Love your story, love your travels, and be careful, folks. If you do travel with Joel, you'll never know where you end up, including maybe Area
Absolutely.
51. That is for another stream for another day. All right. So, Joel, generative AI and enterprise collaboration. Boy, it's really starting to shift the way we collaborate today. Why don't you open us up and give us your thoughts on Gen AI and how it's impacting collaboration?
Gen AI really has put applications and software and data and big data and reports and dashboards and all these things on its head. I love the little snippet we have from Satya where he says applications will become agents. And even the idea that over the next few years, 1 billion agents need to get created. And it's fairly mind blowing. But when you start talking about today, the way we use software is fundamentally shifting. This is a major shift. Like I've been through some of those shifts in the past where when we went from DOS to Windows, that the GUIs, that was a big shift.
Mhm.
Going to the internet was another major shift. And even from on-prem to the cloud was a shift. And that mobile shift,
Mobile shift.
this is a major shift. My brain is on this phone, and this is actually my device these days. I'm one of those. I love to say that I'm a Gen Zer because my brain is my phone. And
Mm.
while I'm not a digital native, I think it's important to understand the differences in generations. But this technology is so impactful and so powerful. And I'd love to just dig into that. But essentially, what I've very much seen is that search is fundamentally changed, like
Mm.
the way we access information
How you
and
find
our
it.
ability to just ask questions of our data. The interface, I love being able to talk and get information. Like I'm back in the day, it was, hey, Alexa. And then you realize, you know what? Alexa's really only good at a few things, like 5 things. You can have it play music and you can have it like tell you
Cut,
what time it is or what the weather is.
cut your
But
lights
beyond
on.
that, it's, yeah, there you go. But now with Gen AI, it really has opened that wide open where, hey, let's have AI summarize the meeting or give the action items and who said what. That stuff's super, super powerful and so necessary and core to what we do.
Right. When organizations are implementing generative AI in their enterprise collaboration services and work streams, any big misconceptions organizations are making today? Any pitfalls people can avoid?
I think that there's this major, it's like everybody knows is super worried about security, and there's a good reason for that it's like, hey, if we start turning these things on, are we ready for it? And the answer is no, you're not ready for it. So
No.
then it's how do we build that balance? And that's really what you should be going after, is the balance. Because if you say, hey, we're not ready, so we're going to just block everything, you're going to also have this problem of then people are going to bring their favorite AI from home and be using that for their work. And would you rather have them using the work version that has privacy and security built into it, that's has a lot of the levels and controls and has the right agreements with the enterprise you're working with? Or would you rather have them using their favorite tool at home, which is absolutely not protected, doesn't have their
Hmm.
privacy and considerations on board? And hopefully that's an obvious answer that no, you really should be doing this the right way.
Okay, super. Speaking of those tools and people using their personal Gen AI tools and then coming into the workplace and using the work provided Gen AI tools, here comes a tricky question, Joel, that a lot of technology leaders are being forced to ask due to customer demand and just the amount of tools that are available. Is one Gen AI tool enough for one organization's collaboration need?
Wow. That's a really wild question. And I don't think that there's one answer for that.
Mm,
I do think that the small shops should definitely feel like your ability to focus on one and get that right should really be where you're headed. For the larger enterprises, your ability to put all your eggs in one basket and then realize you picked the wrong model or the wrong tool
oops.
is another concern of, hey, you really went all in on one and then you're like, what if we would have chosen this other one?
Mm,
So I've even seen enterprises where it's like, hey, let's pick two and let's have the business use one and our engineers the one that's more for engineering purposes. Let's make sure we've got that one lined up. It may be that you're using Copilot for business users, and then you have, say, a chat GPT like experience for more of the engineering kind of, what are you using for your pipeline? You may be using the Amazon tools for your dev solutions or whatever. So I think that this idea of pick one may be a big challenge for large enterprises.
mm.
And especially when you start talking about, oh, there's Box AI and Slack AI and Figma and Miro, and every tool seems to have AI. Your Adobe suites have their AI built into
Everybody's
them.
got AI now.
Everybody, yeah. And you talk about your Google Workspace versus your Microsoft 365. Both of them have it. I was happy to see that Google's now just, you know what, we give up. We're just going to include the price in her core and then say Gemini is included. I would like to see them invest more in what they're doing, because it feels like some of these Gen AI tools are really just scratching the surface on what's possible and being innovative. It's like, hey, let's get our first integrations out there, and they're very much focused on summarization, which feels very rudimentary. It's, couldn't I just build my summarizing tool and then I can copy and paste my stuff and then use that for whether I'm writing my emails or trying to generate a summary of my PDF or whatever it happens to be? Do I really need that in every single tool? And I think that right now there's a massive wave from all these productivity tools trying to play catch up because, yeah, you're going to be really irrelevant if you don't have those features and functionality. And people definitely will bail if you don't meet this bar.
One of the concerns we talked about earlier that you brought up was concerns around data. And there's another
Mm,
concern out there a lot of organizations are taking on, and that is when leveraging Gen AI for collaboration, how can organizations strike that right balance between automation and human decision making? What are some things organizations can do to
wow.
balance those two?
So let me take the first part of that and talk about what should you be doing from a security and privacy governance perspective that essentially not all data is equal. And you've got your crown jewels, you need to be protecting your crown jewels. And what are you going to be doing from a Gen AI perspective? There's a lot of work that Microsoft has put into Copilot around respecting sensitivity labels, as an example. And that's huge. Like your ability to say, I want to start labeling my files and doing auto labeling as it relates to credit card numbers, routing numbers, ABA, PII,
Yeah.
the financial stuff, all that really important sensitive data, and your ability to have labels that are predefined for your organization that, as an example, set that do not extract. And what's powerful about the do not extract is essentially both ChatGPT and Copilot can't get in those files.
Mm.
So essentially, if you've done the right things, it can block. But as well, even from a Gen AI perspective, your ability to say, hey, I want to know something about these files. If they're stored and they've got those encryption labels on them and they're with the right configuration, yeah, it can't reason over that data. And there may be some data you want it to reason over and other places where you don't. And Microsoft has spent a lot of time kind of focusing on how to integrate the Purview suite of tools around DLP and information
Mm-hmm.
protection and even the privacy newer stuff and that idea of how do we not all data is created equal. So how do we create these tiers of classification and rolling that out? And from an AI perspective, being able to say, here's where we want AI to focus when somebody starts saying, hey, tell me about this project or that project. There's probably some projects you don't want to come back. And the idea that it's security trimmed is fantastic. But when you've got some developers who may be thinking security by obscurity, that's another consideration.
Wow. Great tips. Any tips around adoption of Gen AI tools for organizations? I know a lot of the times with Gen AI, we're learning that it's more than just about cutting on the technology. It's about working with the
Yeah.
users and how they use the technology. Any adoption tips?
Yeah, yeah. I think you very much start with something that came from our Yammer days, and you'll love this, is that you've got the people who are, if we make all the people who are into it and interested in it, we make them labeled the green folks, right? The green, yellow, red. So
Mm.
there's those who are your attractors, and then there's those who are like people who are totally anti it. In fact, one of the mantras you'll hear is, you know what? I can write emails without the assistant of AI. Why do I need AI? It's, man, you so do not understand this. And the sooner that we can help you understand how Gen AI can actually help you be more productive and it's not trying to take your job, it's actually a tool for you, and that tool is going to help you become more productive and more efficient, and that those who don't adopt the tools and don't take advantage of it, you're going to be left behind. So there's a bit of a wake up call, but what I'm trying to say from an adoption perspective is let's focus on that group who are hungry for it,
Mm, the
who
green
probably
users.
already have 5 tools on their phone to do this, and we want them to be able to use the right enterprise tools so that we're getting the privacy and security for that.
Yeah.
So again, what do we want to do with those folks who are like attractors? There's the training around prompts, there's the adoption techniques of let's help you understand what you can do in Word, Excel, PowerPoint. But beyond that, even just here's Gen AI, how do I do a good prompt? And there are some serious differences between just asking simple questions of, hey, I'm looking for this file. And yeah, it's powerful from a search perspective, but your ability to say, hey, I just came off of a week long vacation. I've heard people say, I'm too busy to use Gen AI. And I think that's actually one of the biggest jokes
Hmm.
is like, what are you talking about? You're too busy. That is hilarious because if you realized you're going to
Save
time
time.
in a huge way, you come off that, hey, I've got a load of emails that I will not have a time to catch up with. Your ability to have a serious prompt that says, hey, I just got off that I've been gone for a week. As my assistant, help me categorize my mails of which ones I should respond to first.
Oh yeah. What are the
That
hot
kind of stuff.
potatoes?
I love that. It's give me my top 10. That way I can be looking at the 10. And so even if it thinks these are the top 10, I'm not saying what's the most important. I'm actually getting a set of them back where I can then say, whoa, this is the one from the VP or this is the one from my
Hmm.
boss. And it's trying to do what it can, but my ability to just get them in front of me so I can then say, hey, I'm going to clear this stuff out. Or even if I'm on vacation and you're like, I've only got 2 minutes to pop in here. Hey, Copilot, what did I miss since I've been gone? And it
Hmm.
actually knows what you haven't read. It
Oh
knows
right.
which ones came in from your boss and which ones came in from the VP or the CEO or whatever. Those are big. And I think that that's really about understanding that and then getting to your detractors with your campaigns. Like you got to do some good campaigning for how you move the needle. What I would say is don't roll it out to everybody on day one. And I know that may be weird to some because it's like it's super easy to just turn these tools
Turn it
on
on.
and say,
Right.
hey, everybody go to town. And you can do that from a web perspective of saying, hey, the GenAI web is on, but let's make sure that those people really understand what they've got and let's roll this out in phases or in let's work with HR, let's work with R&D, let's work with each of these departments because guess what? There's a lot of tips and techniques of what you might use with a recruiter different than what you would use for a dev. And those are
Cases.
really important use cases and personas, really valuable.
Super great tips. Joel, digital transformation talk is only 15 minutes long, and we've
Oh,
arrived.
okay.
We've arrived at the end of a great, fantastic talk. Such insightful
Yeah.
thoughts on Gen AI and enterprise collaboration. I really appreciate you being here today. For those watching, if you found this valuable, make sure to follow Joel for more of his insights and connect with him on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe to the Digital Transformation Talk newsletter for more conversations like this one. You can find the link in the description. Joel, thanks again for joining us today.
Thanks much. Really
Okay.
appreciate it. Thanks, Dan.
And everyone watching, keep transforming, keep innovating, and I'll see you next time on Digital Transformation Talk. Have a good week.